Hey, how's it going everybody? It is Thursday, and that means it is time for yet another Fallout 4 mod throwback. We're going to go on next and take a deep dive at some older mods that have been suggested by you guys. Now today we have a little bit of a treat as we are actually checking out two mods, and those are going to be the HSKAWS and the Pancor Jackhammer, both of which by Tactical. Now, these are both pretty similar. They are bullpup shotguns that really only ever saw the prototype stage, so they were never a real full-release weapon. Starting with the Pancor Jackhammer, this is a very iconic weapon despite it never seeing full production. This thing can be found in a ton of games and movies, yet again, there was only ever really one functional design. Moving over to the HSKAWS, this was a little bit closer to full production, being actually backed by a real weapons manufacturer, yet it never saw full production as it was deemed a bit unnecessary at the end of its life cycle, leaving it kind of stuck in its prototype stage. But now you can find both of these weapons in Fallout 4 thanks to these two wonderful mods. If you want to pick up a copy of the Pancor Jackhammer, as there was only ever really one prototype version, that has kind of stayed the same in Fallout. If you want to grab this thing, you'll actually need to go find a unique version in an unmarked quest that starts at Starlight Drive-In. Or you can just craft it at the chemistry station for some pretty expensive parts and perk requirements. As for the CAWS, you can actually find this thing on the leveled lists on higher level gunners. Additionally, there is a unique version called the Kill 'Em All, which, spoiler alert, can be found at the CAWS Ironworks, floating in the fire pit in the middle of the boss room. As for the reasoning behind why the CAWS gets a leveled list version, it has actually appeared in past Fallout games like Fallout 2 and Fallout Tactics, where it was rare but you could still find some, so it's gotta be assumed that in the Fallout universe this thing might have seen more production than it had in ours. Now let's take a look at the animations for both of these weapons, starting with the Pancor Jackhammer. As you see, we get a beautiful reload as well as some custom melee animations. Now let's check out that CAWS. It has custom melee as well. Moving on, let's go ahead and get the stats for these weapons. For the Pancor Jackhammer, we have a base damage of 71, shooting shotgun shells of course, a fire rate of 36, a range of 83, an accuracy of 35, a weight of 18 pounds, and a value of a whopping 34,937 caps. Given that this is supposed to be a unique weapon, there should only be one in the world. However, like I said, you can craft this thing for some pretty hefty requirements. As for the CAWS, you have a base damage of 82, it shoots shotgun shells as well, has a fire rate of 30, a range of 77, an accuracy of 48, a weight of 9.3 pounds, and a value of a more reasonable 2,025 caps. Again, this thing is in the leveled list, but it's going to be a pretty rare spawn on really high level gunners. And then finally we have that unique version of the CAWS called Kill 'Em All. This is going to have a 25% faster fire rate and a 15% faster reload, and bullets will explode for an area of damage. So this is going to have a base damage of 81, also shooting shotgun shells, has a fire rate of 100, a range of 53, an accuracy of only 6, a weight of 10.6 pounds, and a value of 13,500 caps, as this is a true unique weapon. Now let's briefly go over the attachments that are available for all of these really cool weapons, starting with the Pancor Jackhammer. It has a handful of receivers with the standard, the choked barrel, the lightweight receiver, powerful receiver, rapid receiver, recoil dampened receiver, the rapid powerful receiver, the magnum receiver, and the advanced receiver. The magnum receiver is going to give you the highest damage, with 142 being its max damage, compared to the standard 71. We have a few ammo types. We have double-aught buckshot, number 4 buckshot, rifled slugs, breaching slugs, flechettes, armor-piercing slugs, dragon's breath, fragmentation slugs, and X-rep taser slugs, which deal electrical damage and will paralyze enemies. Super cool ammo type. The highest damage you're going to get out of these is those fragmentation slugs, which nearly doubles our damage on its own. We do have different drum types. We have the steel drum, aluminum drum, and the composite drum, which will all increase your fire rate and decrease your weight. And then we do have some scope options. We have the iron sights, reflex sight, short scope, and the recon scope. Moving on to the HSKAWS, we have a handful of the same attachments, but also some really cool new ones. Starting with receivers, we'll see some pretty similar stuff. We have the standard receiver, heavy, lightweight, rapid, critical, magnum, and advanced. Advanced getting you up to 146 compared to your standard 82. For ammo types, we have double-aught buckshot, triple-aught buckshot, rifled slug, double-aught magnum, triple-aught magnum, cryo shell, magnum rifled slug, flechettes, dragon's breath, a heat-seeking slug, which will give you a guided shotgun round, the tungsten buckshot, and then the fragmentation slug, which is going to give you the maximum damage with 189. We do have the option for this one to convert it into full auto, which is pretty nice. We have two magazines, the standard magazine and the quick eject mag. We have a handful of scope options. We have the low power scope, which functions like a short scope in the vanilla game. We have some laser sights, which actually have built-in iron sights. And then we have the trench sight, which is going to be that built-in iron sight, but without an actual laser. And it's just a simple little trench scope, as you can see right there. And then we have some barrel extensions. We have the flash hider, the full choke, the oval choke horizontal, the oval choke vertical, the barrel extension, and an integral suppressor. Alright, now we move on to the testing phase of our video, and as you can see, we've stepped up the game a little bit. Instead of regular Deathclaws, we are going to be testing on some high-level Alpha Deathclaws, as these shotguns are going to pack quite a punch. Now we have 4 different tests today. The first is going to be the maximum damage you can possibly get out of the Pancor Jackhammer without perks, so this is purely the weapon doing all the work. Then the same test with the HSKAWS with the maximum damage it can do. Then we're going to test out that legendary variant, the Kill 'Em All, which has a little bit less damage but a much faster fire rate. And then finally, I really just want to try out those taser rounds, as those seem like a whole lot of fun. Alright, let's go ahead and get started with the first test. This is the Pancor Jackhammer with the maximum possible damage up against an Alpha Deathclaw. Okay then. It appears we may need some tougher enemies. The HSKAWS actually does more damage, so I'm assuming we're going to get a similar result. No. Interesting. So that one goes down in 3 shots. I'm very curious as to what happened there. Alright then. Let's try out the Kill 'Em All. Which, as you can see, has no issues taking down a Deathclaw. And then finally, we have those taser rounds. Not really packing quite a punch, but as you can see, it does completely paralyze the enemy, which can cause for a little bit more fun than it can damage. That being said, it still can hold its own against an Alpha Deathclaw. It's just going to take a few more rounds. Now, I pulled out another Deathclaw or 2 with some further testing because I just had to know what was going on with that Pancor Jackhammer, and it's really interesting. As you can see, these are both explosive rounds. This one doing more damage with 269, and this one doing less with only 203. Yet, the Pancor puts them down in just 1 shot. So, something must be going on there behind the scenes that I'm just not aware of. Now, finally, before we go, there is one more thing I'd like to point out. If you download the Pancor Jackhammer, you will get access to another weapon, and that is the Shotgun Mine, which is craftable at a chemistry station. As you can see here, it is a little mine made out of the magazine of the Pancor Jackhammer. It deals 1,348 damage, and each individual mine is worth 4,500 caps. These things are mighty hefty. And as you see, they pack quite a punch. Rather than an explosive shell, it shoots shotgun rounds directly up into the enemy, and they deal quite a bit of damage. So there you have it, the Pancor Jackhammer and the HSKAWS, both of which by Tactical. These are some really incredible, unique shotguns, and they have definitely aged very well. These are some really, really cool guns. If you want to check them out yourself, there will be links down in the description below where you can go and download them, as well as Xbox links if they're available. As always, if you enjoyed the mods, endorse them. Show the mod author your appreciation for all of their hard work. And if you enjoyed this video, drop a rating. Subscribe if you haven't already for more videos just like this. Don't forget to drop an idea for a future Throwback Thursday episode, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace! And really quick, I'd like to make a shout out to all of our patrons. Your donations are greatly appreciated and really help to support the channel and videos just like this one. So again, thank you.